By this point you might have been wondering, where's Goemon? Well, at least you might have been until you saw the title card for this one. This episode opens with Goemon training his skills as Lupin watches, clad in his most effective disguise to date. He claims to be a talent agent, though soon learns Goemon is looking for him, not that he knows Lupin by face. He also learns that Fujiko is posing as Goemon's girlfriend, and tries to stop her from blowing his cover. Not that it matters, as Goemon lied about not knowing Lupin's face. After an escape attempt involving a mat, the two fight, and Lupin uses a flammable liquid to get the upper hand. Not for long though, as Goemon tosses a flaming rope and catches Lupin in the flames too. As Lupin recovers, Jigen tells him of Momochi, Goemon's master and the former best assassin in the world. Fujiko also makes an appearance and claims Goemon was being more than a little bit forward with her, prompting Lupin to challenge Goemon again. This turns out to be a setup by Momochi to kill them both. Not that it works, as when Momochi pays Fujiko off for instigating the fight, he senses Goemon beneath him and declares that he was under orders from a supercomputer to kill them. Not that this works either, so Momochi takes Fujiko hostage and makes an escape, mocking Goemon for not being able to attack his master unlike Lupin. Lupin's in agreement there. There is still some unfinished business, though Lupin says he doesn't really want to fight Goemon. They have another fight on the highway anyway and end up causing a pile-up. They both survive and Goemon declares he'll be back. If the story of an old master betraying his student out of jealousy sounds familiar, then you probably played Persona 5. I mean, Yusuke uses a katana and even has the historical Goemon as a persona. All in all, I find this to be a good introduction story for Goemon in a series with not a lot of introduction stories. It's also a nice touch that they don't instantly become friends after the real enemy is revealed. It is a dark and stormy day, I guess. Lupin receives a note and a summon by a man called Kid's Meal to help a woman out. Fujiko. He's helping Fujiko out. She's working for a man who only has memories going back about 6 months and asks Lupin to look into it. He and Jigen are attacked while doing so, and while he's getting patched up, his doctor recognises the man as the crime boss Phantom Weasel. A surgeon friend of the doctor's went missing 6 months ago, right around the time Weasel lost his memory. Turns out he has a machine for erasing and restoring memories and had his henchman Mandala kill anyone investigating him until the 6 months are up. In a twist of fate, however, Weasel dies the day he's set to restore his memory. Or Fujiko possibly killed him, it's not made certain. When Mandala mentions they plan to cremate Weasel, Fujiko freaks out and ends up getting chased out the room. Lupin realises that something is hidden in Weasel's body thanks to this reaction, and gathers a team together. First up is Rock Iron Hammer, whose skills should be obvious from how he looks. High agility, of course. Second is Mandala, who's now working with Lupin after Fujiko got away. Lupin decides on a password system for everyone, but kills Jigen when he refuses to give his answer. Yep, Jigen's dead forever. No, it's Kid's Meal under Fujiko's orders. Fujiko points out that Weasel's death is suspicious, and shows Lupin that Zenigata is planning to transport the body because of this. Lupin plans out an infiltration point to separate the transport from the convoy and investigate the body before they're joined back up. He doesn't want weapon use, but Jigen shoots out the horse's side mirrors just to be safe. They catch up and find the Star of Kilimanjaro diamond in the body, breaking away just as they reach the intersection. Mandala takes it, revealing he was working with Fujiko, and ends up shot for his trouble, though Fujiko gets away with the diamond. 6 episodes in, and we finally have a proper heist. The interesting part for me was the planning out and the acting on it. Also of note is that Lupin gathers a team to pull this off. Getting a bit ahead here, but sometimes the movies reuse ideas from older episodes. But nearly every time someone outside the gang works with them, they're either a traitor, killed in the same scene, or sometimes both. So seeing Hammer make it through was different. Could be an interesting angle to take, gathering a team and keeping an audience guessing at who lives, dies and betrays the gang throughout the plot. Lupin is honing his abilities with great success in order to steal a set of scrolls back from the Jito organisation. The scrolls contain the secrets of the XIII, meaning of course that Goemon is involved. His grandfather once possessed the scrolls too, making this a matter of family pride. He disguises himself as an entrant into a contest Jito is holding, noting that Fujiko has done the same thing. Yeah, I'm not even pretending this isn't Fujiko. The two of them are the only entrants to pass, but Lupin nearly blows his disguise as he doesn't have a letter of recommendation on him. That night, Lupin tries to get the information from Fujiko, but she makes a group of her own from the other entrants and attempts to take the scrolls for herself. Goemon takes them all out, leaving Fujiko alive out of his sense of chivalry. This allows Lupin to steal the scrolls, but they're explosive fakes. This works out in Lupin's favour as it blows a hole for him to escape. Lupin confronts Jito, who reveals that he fought with Lupin's father and lost due to him possessing a dagger made with the XIII forging method. He later stole the scrolls and sword for himself. Goemon, overhearing this, tells them they should duel for the scrolls. Lupin prepares in the best way he knows how, but Jito holds his own. At least until he falls into a hole. Goemon declares Lupin the winner, but Fujiko takes the scrolls. They accept those were fakes too, so Goemon gives Lupin the actual scrolls and warns they'll fight again soon. Later, they meet and Goemon falls for the same trick as Jito. Goemon tries again, slicing Lupin's car in half. As Lupin chases him round in half a car, they both break down laughing at the absurdity of the situation, thus setting Goemon up as a member of the gang. Multiparters are a rarity in this series and continuity is generally pretty loose. That said, this was a good story, and it's interesting to see when they do acknowledge anything overarching. Kind of funny to say that really, considering this is a story about XIII, and that thing's origins seem to have something added every other week. Also of note is that this was A Production's first episode, though I assume he does still have a co-credit for the next few episodes, and it'll be a while before A Production changes Lupin into something a bit more familiar with what is seen later. Lupin's target this episode is Mr. Gold. I have no idea why he's called that. He calls Mr. Gold and tells him he's planning to steal his set of lucky playing cards, and to prove he isn't bluffing, he's already replaced a stack of money with bison dollars. Mr. Gold holds a birthday party with Zenigata running security. He shows off the cards and explains that they once belonged to Napoleon and bring luck to everyone who owns them. They ended up abandoning him right around the time of his attempted Russian invasion. So, not very lucky then. Zenigata keeps time, knowing Lupin will strike at midnight, setting his watch to the nearby clock tower. As midnight comes, Lupin announces his presence and Zenigata dives for his location. Or rather a tape recorder's location. Mr. Gold checks the cards, but Lupin swipes them as he lifts their protective case, having set the clock tower ahead by 5 minutes and taken them at midnight like he promised he would. Lupin gives the cards to Fujiko, who tells him that a spirit that looked like a joker told her she'd be getting them soon. The girl gifts them with some flowers, that then blow up. It happens, I suppose. Not helping is that the hospital Jigen ends up in is a front for Mr. Gold's agents. No matter where they go, Mr. Gold is able to follow. Combined with Zenigata also on their tail, they split up and agree to meet at a mansion. Jigen and Fujiko get there first and they discover a tracker in one of the cards. The police and Mr. Gold have already arrived, however, and attack the mansion. Lupin and Goemon watch from afar. Goemon decides to attack head-on, but Lupin puts on a more gung-ho act. Goemon makes it to the others and they find a note on his back. From there, Lupin reenacts his escape from the pilot, albeit disguised as Mr. Gold this time. The cards thank Fujiko for her help and then fly out of her possession. While episode 6 was the first heist, episode 8 feels like the first one to employ the plot beats and setup often used in the later series. Lupin sending warnings, Zenigata setting up security, and so on. The cards having sentience was a bit of an oddity, but hardly the strangest thing that'll be happening in this franchise. And if not for Goemon's presence as an ally, this one could also serve as a good first episode. And even Goemon could be written around by a writer knowing what they were doing, to be fair. Next time, we'll be covering episodes 9 to 12, so until then,